Hi, my name is Denise Landrith. I'm a school counselor at Lee High School, and I've been asked to talk to you today about ways that we can cope with stress and anxiety. We're currently in this entire COVID-19 pandemic, so I think that there is a lot of stress and anxiety in our lives that are not normally there. So there's a lot of people out there that don't normally deal with stress and anxiety who are really feeling those effects of that. And today we're going to kind of talk about some ways that we can decrease our anxiety and just general ways in our everyday life that we can decrease our stress. So now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about stress in our everyday life and ways that we can decrease our stress. So now we're going to talk about general ways to manage stress in our everyday life. So first, you need to understand how stress affects your body, because a lot of times we don't realize that we're stressed out until it's really on top of us. Okay, so how does stress affect you? Does your heart rate increase? Do you start to have trouble sleeping, either falling asleep or waking up in the middle of the night because your mind is racing? Do you have trouble focusing? I know that has been one that I noticed for me a lot this week, is when I've been trying to read books, even really good books that I enjoy, I'll read the same paragraph multiple times because I just can't, I have some trouble focusing on it, and I realize that is definitely some level of stress in my life right now. And then headaches and body aches can be physical manifestations of stress, because you're either clenching your jaw, clenching your teeth, and that can give you headaches, or you're just holding your body posture very tight and make you kind of achy. Those are all signs that you have a lot of stress. Or just being irritable or overly angry at like the drop of a hat. All of those are signs that stress could be on top of you. So the first step is to recognize how stress affects you, so that then you, as those things start to happen, you can take a step back, realize that you're getting stressed out, and we can kind of stop it before it gets out of control. Next step is we have to focus on getting our brain back. So what happens when we're stressed out, our body is flooded with stress hormones. And there's quite a few of them, but two kind of major ones. The first one is adrenaline. Adrenaline is that fight or flight hormone in your body. It gives you a lot of energy. Well, right now, we definitely can't run away from our stress. It's just stuck there. So then we have all of that energy that has no place to go. And a lot of times that's one of the ones that leads to like the anger and the lashing out when we're stressed out. The other one is cortisol. So cortisol does a lot of things in your body when it's there kind of in higher levels for a period of time. So like when you have that kind of low-key stress that's just there day in and day out. And what cortisol does is it actually can lower your immune system, which none of us needs right now. It can increase your blood pressure. It can lower your metabolism, and it can even break your skin out. Nobody wants any of those things to happen. So kind of trying to find some ways to focus, de-stress yourself can lower those hormones in your body and decrease their effects. Let's talk about some ways that we can actually do that. First, and the absolute easiest one, is to step back and take some deep breaths. You can do that in any way that you choose. Just breathe in and out slowly. You can either, or you can even kind of breathe in to the count of 3, breathe out to the count of 5. And what that does is when you're actually counting it, it's focusing your brain off of what's happening and onto the counting. The other one that I really, really love, and I actually do, and I have my kids do when they're upset, is actually put my hand up, and as I go up, I trace my fingers, and as I go up my fingers, I breathe in, and as I go down my fingers, I breathe out. Breathe in, and then breathe out. So again, what that's doing is it's slowing your heart rate, it's decreasing the stress hormones, but it's also giving you a tactile, as you're tracing your hand, that's kind of focusing your brain on that sense of touch. And helping kind of get you out of whatever cycle you're thinking about in that moment. Other good ways, go splash some cold water on your face. Again, it refocuses your mind onto what's actually happening, quick and easy. Get up, walk around and stretch, okay? Especially if we hold this tension in our muscles and we're really tight, standing up and stretching can help with some of that. If you have time, exercising. I know a lot of people deal with stress by going for a run or going for a walk, and what that does is it actually eats through that adrenaline or uses up that adrenaline that's running through your body, and can be a very good way to decrease that stress hormone. And then long term, making sure you're eating right and sleeping well. It's really hard right now, especially I know that I've been eating a lot more junk food than I normally do in my everyday life. And I know that kind of my schedule is off, so I know that my sleep has gotten off. Both of those things can slowly affect your levels of stress, which are not good for you, obviously. Next, assess the situation that you're in accurately. So when we are stressed out, we kind of have that situation where we make a mountain out of a molehill. So we make a problem bigger than it really is. So taking a step back again and realizing, is this something that's worth getting upset over? Is this really a big problem, or is this an annoyance that I can learn to let go and move on from? And then notice and challenge your thinking traps. So thinking traps are those things where something small happens and you make it into kind of a deeper issue. Like, I've got a test score back and I failed a math test. Well, I'm obviously just gonna fail math this year. Or that friend didn't text you back, so you're automatically concerned they're mad at you. Or even just, getting frustrated at small things and making them overly negative than what they really are. Some more steps. Appraise and reframe the situation and develop a growth mindset. Both of those things are trying to find ways to take a negative situation you're in and find the positives in it, and learning to grow and be stronger, so the next time you're in that same stressful situation, you know how to handle it better and you know that you can get past it because you've done that before. So like right now, we're all cooped up at home, but I am one book away from meeting my entire 2020 reading goal. That's a way to frame it in a more positive light. So finding ways to do that is really good and helpful for you. I always like the quote from Martin Luther King Jr. that says, "Only when it's dark can you see the stars." So again, reframing a potentially negative situation into a positive one. Finding the good in every situation always helps us be more grateful as people, and definitely helps lower our stress levels. So all of that that we've talked about so far is just kind of retraining our brain to handle stress. Now let's deal with the actual situation that you're in, or the problem that you're in. So say you're stressed out about e-learning, or you're stressed out about a project you need to do for a class. The first thing that you really need to do, especially if it's an assignment that you're not really sure of how to do it or what's going on, is finding a way to break that problem down into smaller steps. So if you have to write an essay, well, start by just doing some research, or start by doing just an outline, something like that, where you're breaking it down into smaller chunks, so you're not just trying to swallow the whole thing at once. Also, watch out for just trying to suppress those feelings of stress. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where someone has just told you, don't stress or calm down. It's pretty much never worked in the history of ever. It just telling someone not to stress out, it's just not helpful. And it also doesn't help when you just tell yourself, I just need to get over this. Again, going back to acknowledging our feelings, when we just bury our feelings and suppress them, they just fester and can affect our overall health, and just doesn't really help us very much at all. And then last two ways, again, being kind to yourself and others. When we are extending that grace to other people, it can help encourage all of us. It helps create kind of a safer environment, reduces our fear, and don't forget to get support. You're not alone. We all may feel kind of alone when we're stressed out, but you're not alone. So remember who your circle is, remember who your people are, and reach out to them when you're stressed out. It may be that you just need someone to vent to for a few minutes, or it may be that you're reaching out to get some advice and have someone help you with this problem. All of those are great things to do. They're great resources to have. And then lastly, I want to say, if your stress and anxiety levels are getting on top of you too much and you feel like you can't control them, please in this time, reach out. I have a lot of fear as a school counselor because I walk through the halls and I see y'all every day, and I know my teachers see y'all every day. And so we a lot of times can just see a student when they are stressed out, or if something's going on and they're upset, even if they're not telling us, we can just see it in their body language. But we're not there right now to see you every day and see your stress levels rise and see you upset. So you have to be an advocate for yourself, and you have to reach out to the resources that are available if you feel like it's getting too much for you. Especially, please, if you have any thoughts of self-harm, there's the Speak North Alabama app. It's a great resource that we've talked about plenty of other times. It's got resources, it's got phone numbers in there. Also, I've included the crisis services number and the number that you can text. Again, if you're just feeling overwhelmed and need someone to talk to, just reach out. Hope I've given you a couple more tools to help you deal with stress and anxiety. Know that your teachers and your administrators and your school counselors, we all miss seeing you every day, and we can't wait to see you as soon as we can. Thank you. Have a great day.